Hey guys, welcome to our SoulFam Podcast, where I interview space holders from all over the world. I'm your host, my name is Carolina, and I am the Connection Catalyst. I help spiritual entrepreneurs experience deeper connection with themselves, with others, and with the whole universe. Today on the show, we have Tara Arnold, an intuitive artist and conscious and trance channel medium. Welcome to the show, Tara. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to meet you.
It's really, really nice to meet you too. And I'm super excited because we're going to have some messages channeled today. And I just cannot wait because I love channeled messages. And I love when people are doing it on the spot, on the podcast as we are going, as we are recording here. So that's really, really exciting for me. But before we do that, and before we move into how to channel and all these beautiful things, I would love you to share a little bit of your story and maybe story of your spiritual awakening and how you became a medium and how did it unfold for you in your life?
Well, when I was a child, I had messages from spirit, and like many of us, you kind of bury it and think it's normal, like everybody's, receiving messages, so you don't make that big of a deal of it. And then in my teens and early 20s, I got into, some addictions and partying, and you kind of leave the spiritual world behind. But I was always drawn to like healing, and I went into nursing and became a nurse. And at the time I was nursing, I had an injury and ended up going back to school to become a natural therapist and took all these energy healing courses. And that really opened up my intuitive abilities, and all these messages started flooding in again. And so the guides were like, well, we'd like you to give our messages to the clients that you have. And so I started giving messages, and then it was a lot of fun. So I came across trance channeling and thought that looked really exciting. So I asked for that to happen, and I kind of tried it a few times. It didn't really work, but I meditated a lot. And then one day, St Germain came to me in one of my sessions, and he blended his energies and said he'd be trance channeling with me, and it kind of just started from there. So he brings in the violet flame of transmutation. He's an ascended master, so we had a lifetime of, in the 17th century, that's the aspect that I channel of him. And so he was a philosopher and alchemist, and then he became enlightened, and now he assists many people on the planet. There's not just me channeling him, there's a lot of people, because he was like a spiritual leader, or he is a spiritual leader for the Aquarian age, like Jesus and Buddha would be spiritual leaders for the Piscean age. And so Saint Germain is coming to many light workers. So if anybody that's listening is interested in channeling, it's very it's very natural. It's a natural state for us to channel. And so if you're interested in it, then the Ascended Masters would love to join you if you ever wanted to. They are waiting for people to, start asking them, inviting them in. And once you get channeling, then they will give you, like, they'll guide you and teach you more. I teach 2 channeling classes. One is how to consciously channel, and it's a pre-recorded session. And then the next one is if you want to move from conscious channeling to trance channeling. I do a master class with St. Germain. So he trance channels through me and teaches the course depending on wherever, like, the person's vibrating at and what they need. So he teaches like one-on-one directly how to trance channel, and then it's really easy and very natural. So he removes all the blocks to channeling, any past lifetime fears. And so if you're interested in it, if it's like something that you're passionate about and you like to listen to other channels, it's because you're already good at it. So if you're interested in that, I recommend that you start opening up your intuitive abilities and start
and have
get going
fun.
on it. Yeah, have
Yeah.
fun.
Perfect. And can you explain? Actually, I have two questions. Maybe I will start from the first one. First of all, how did you know that there are your guides that are giving you messages, and then that this is St. Germain or other ascended masters? Like, do you just get a sense that this is the energy that is coming into you, or do you also see it visually, or how did you know what exactly? Because there are different beings in the world, and different beings can give you messages. So how do you discern that these are the beings that you want to hear from?
Okay, well, at the beginning, I would hear them, like they would speak. So they just told me. And then now when I trance channel, they bring in light language into my crown chakra, and my brain translates it from light language into English. And so at the beginning, it was, it's like a knowing. And if you're channeling and there's fear behind your words, you're channeling the ego. So you're either you're in a third dimension because there's fear or judgment. So the ascended masters have no fear or judgment. And so if there's any judgment, then I'm like, oh, you're in the ego. If you're not having judgment and the words that are coming out that you don't normally use. And so it just flows. It's like, there's no questioning it after they kind of introduce themselves. They'll let you know in different ways. So some people, like they said, like I heard them out loud talking, but some people will just feel them as an energy, and it's a knowing. And in order to channel the ascended masters, you have to trust your own knowing first. That's like 100%, because they'll pull back if you're not trusting your own knowing. So once you trust and believe and know it without a doubt, you channel from where you're vibrating at. So if you're vibrating a fear, you're going to create something fear-based, and that's what you're going to channel. But if you're love and heart-centered, then you're going to channel divine love. But who do you want to play with? So the ascended masters say, well, you pick your spirit guides like you pick your friends on planet Earth. So who do you want to play with? Who resonates with you? Like, are you reading a book and you come across St. Germain's name 3 times, once over the internet, and once somebody said his name, that means he's trying to get your attention. So you can find out who your spirit guides are by just asking, like, just say, show me. And when you say, show me, and ask a question to the universe, you're in a vibration of wanting. And so then when you go play and you raise your vibration, they'll drop in the answer and you'll have an aha moment. So it's like just really getting into that vibration so you can meditate. But if you're not into meditating, you can like play, like paint or create something. And when you're creating, you're going to start to feel your spirit guides. You're going to get messages from them through different ways. Like I was talking about, like seeing their name in a book, or they're trying to show up in your reality, or they are showing up in your reality. So it's just seeing the signs. Yeah, so you just pick your friends, like who do you resonate with, and then that's who you're going to channel, because it's your reality, it's not spirits. So spirits, like, we're all sitting here waiting, but who do you want to play with? Just call us in. And if you're heart-centered, there's no blocks. Like we're a vibrational match. But if you see them as more important, they can't connect because you're causing a vibrational separation. So if you see them as friends and as equal, and just call in who you feel comfortable with, then that's who's going to start showing up in your life. You're going to start receiving messages from them, but you have to trust your knowing. Once you trust your knowing 100%, they'll bring in more messages. So they bring in messages by using your 5 senses. So they'll give you chills. Like a lot of people are getting chills and not knowing what it is. That's your spirit guides come like as a confirmation of a yes. Or they'll give you like a taste or smell. So if you keep smelling something or tasting something in like 3 times in odd areas, that's a message from your spirit guide. Start asking, like, show me more, like, what is it? And they'll give you, like, through feeling or seeing a memory in your third eye or seeing a vision in your third eye. You might be talking to somebody and you get a memory of yourself in childhood, and they're trying to show you that this person has the same emotion or the same experience or the same trauma that you went through, and maybe some words that you could say to them to help them on their journey. So subtle messages. There's also messages through like angel numbers. So if you see numbers lining up, Google the angel numbers, or if you if an animal comes across your path, You can look up spirit totem animals. So throughout your day, the spirit guides are always giving you messages, and everything's a reflection of us. So just tuning into the subtle frequencies and asking to be shown more, and then they'll drop in the answers. You'll have your aha moment. That's you channeling. Like, it's that easy. There's many people channeling and they just don't know they are.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And so you said that in order to be a pure channel, you need to be fully trusting and fully knowing, and first know within yourself what is the truth, right? But
Right.
many people struggle with it because we have a lot of doubts, and since childhood we were questioned. We couldn't trust our own feelings because we are sad, but then parents tell us that there is nothing wrong and nothing happened, but then we kind of like lose our confidence in our own intuition and our own sense of self. So how to get to this place where you are fully in your knowing and you have no doubts? Because I feel like that's one of the things that people would struggle the most with when it comes to channeling, like how to differentiate between whether it's just my imagination and my kind of play in my mind, or whether it's actual channeled message.
Right. So the thing is the ego is always going to be there. Like, we let go of our attachment to the ego, but it's not attaching to it when it comes in. So after I'm done channeling, my ego is always saying, well, no, you didn't do a good job. It's always going to be there, but it gets kind of further away, and you sort of observe it rather than attach to it and believe it. So no matter how loud the ego is, it's telling yourself, no, I'm not going to feed into that. I'm just going to trust my knowing 100% and not doubt. So as soon as you put the intention, I'm going to go channel, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, as soon as you put that intention, know that every single thing that comes in after that was part of your channeling from your heart centered channeling, because that's the intention you put, and do not question it. Once you master that, then it just floods in, because the ascended masters or your other spirit guides have been waiting for you to channel your own truth, because everybody's truth is different. Not one person has the same truth. And so it's once you stop letting the ego run the show, and there's different ways to balance the ego. I have a YouTube channel that I just posted a video on how to use spiritual alchemy to balance the ego so that that quiets down. So you guys can check out that. It's Tara Arnold on YouTube, channeling St Germain. So there's like little ways that you can calm the ego so that it doesn't run the show, because the mental body's consciousness there's three parts to the ego. There's the id, that's that instant gratification that we all want, like that impulse control. And then the ego, and the ego is the one that says, like, don't touch the hot stove. And then the super ego says, touch a hot stove and see what happens. So sometimes the vibrational frequency of each of these aspects of the mental body's consciousness are repelling each other. It's like they're not working in harmony. So it's like a constant argument in the head. And a lot of people have that. And it's like, I did really good channeling. And then the super ego says, no, you didn't do a good job. And it's like this constant torture. So I have a video that you can balance those three frequencies so that they work in harmony, and it quiets and calms the ego. And then walking the ego out a back door of your head before you put the intention to channel, it's like seeing them as little people. Walk the id, ego, super ego out a little back door of your head, and they can sit on a back deck while your higher self and your heart channels the messages. So yeah, you can just do little visualizations to quiet the ego, and then you just don't doubt. Because even when you're channeling, sometimes messages are going to come through that sound odd or sound like it wouldn't be right or correct, and we start to judge them. That puts us right back in the ego. So just trusting and not questioning it, and then eventually the belief will be there. You're not going to go in with the belief. So you have to trust your knowing, and then the belief gets created that it's actually working. So you don't get the belief first. You have to not doubt first. Yeah.
Okay, so first you open up and you just trust anything that comes. And then once you trust multiple times, you just like, yeah, all right, it works.
Yes, yes. And you can practice, like when you first begin, you can practice using like angel cards and or you know, some tarot cards or something as a tool. And then while you're using the tool of like the card, you're reading what's on the card, but the ascended masters and the spirit guides are saying, tune into your intuition. Then does it mean something different to you than what's written on the card, and go with that. So that will get you over like the little hump. Like using a tool will give you the confidence. So if you tell your friend, I'm going to do an angel card reading, and then you start to give them a message instead of reading just what's on the angel card, check in, is this meaning something different based on, you know, their upbringing or their vibration or their energy? Like, does it mean something different for them? And if you get a yes, it does mean something different for them, give them that message, not what's written on the card. Then they're going to validate it for you, and then you're going to start to begin to trust, you know. So it's yeah, it's a journey, but yeah, it's all just trusting your knowing. That's it. Believing.
Beautiful. And that's how I started channeling the messages using the cards, because I love cards and I love just oracle decks, and I have many different of them. And I feel like, yeah, it was when I started receiving kind of confirmation from people that what I'm saying is actually correct. I'm like, okay, then I can channel messages. And before I was, you know, whether this vision that comes to me makes sense or not or whatever. But if you just go with it, if you just make it up, as like William Whitecloud in his course Create Your Destiny, he teaches how to use your intuition, and he's like, just get the message and just literally make it up. Just make it up, right, and you will see that it's true.
Right,
and it's
right.
so funny because you make it up, and it's like, because there is a reason why you make it up in this specific way, and there is a reason why you receive it, this specific vision, and why you receive it in a specific way based on your upbringing, based on your experiences and your circumstances and your beliefs and so on. So someone else could get the same message and it could mean something completely else. So for you, this message is specifically for you, and you receive it in this way to interpret it in your way, right? So if it had to be something different, then maybe to another person the same message would come in a different way because they would interpret it differently. So yeah, that's how I started as well. So I highly recommend this method of starting with the cards and doing with a friend, so that it's not like you don't feel obliged that you need to get it right, because it's just fun to do it with friends, and I think it's just amazing. So thank you for sharing that, because it's really useful, you guys. I've tried.
Yeah, awesome. Exactly what you just said. It's and then you get the confidence, and then you're just off to the races.
Yes, exactly. And so you said that you work mostly with St Germain. And I'm curious to know, what are the most important messages or something like really juicy that he tries to pass on to us right now, the message from him? What is the most important or the most crucial for now for us?
It's all about self-empowerment, speaking our truth, and stepping into our power from our heart, not our heads, and becoming the empowered empath. There's many empaths on like listening to this right now, and it's really stepping into our truth and stop seeking outside of ourselves for that validation, because we're always looking outside of ourselves. So it's about going in, and we're the missing piece. So the universe wants to be like one energy, and because we're pleasing everyone else and serving everyone else and not giving that love to ourselves, like many of us, then it causes a separation in the universe. The universe wants to be one again. So if we go in and give that love to ourselves, then it's going to become whole again. So his messages are about how to do that and how to empower yourself, so you stop seeking love or validation outside of you. Because if you have like an empath, the empath is, you know, walks into a room, and if there's narcissists in the room, they lower their vibration to match theirs to please them, so that they'll know they're loved, or they'll receive love or validation from that person. So, but the bully or the narcissist also has the same thing. So the narcissist is like, I need you to please me so that I know that I'm loved. So both of us are seeking the same thing, like both, you know, empaths or narcissists. And or bullies, you know. So it's about going in and finding that love within yourself so that you can not have to seek it outside yourself. Once the empath finds it within themselves, then the bully can awaken. But the bully can't awaken until the empath gets their power. So the bully, their spirit wants you to stop pleasing them so that they can awaken too, because they won't look in until the empath is empowered. So St. Germain's messages is all about empowering everyone, but he doesn't use the terminology empath or narcissist, because those are like labels and judgments and identities. And so he's like, everyone's equal, but there's some people with like a superior ego or an inferior ego. So I have to use those terminologies to describe, you know, like an empath would have more of an inferior ego. So they're always putting themselves down, where a narcissist or bully has the superior ego, so they're always criticizing others. But we're all in the same game, and there's no judgment on either part of the game, because the empath can't awaken without the bully, and the bully can't awaken without the empath. So it's like, you know, it's just not judging either role, because we've all played both roles. Like, you know, the times that we're having difficulty in this lifetime is because we have played those roles. We have played those roles where we hurt people, and now it's like just transmuting those back to love. So it's all about going in and finding that love within yourself so that the universe can be one energy again.
Beautiful. And I can relate to that, although I call it more codependent people and narcissists. And I feel like at the core, we are all self-centered in a way. Like even the codependent person is a narcissist as well, because they are trying to also get their needs met through pleasing others. So actually It's all the same. It's all the same coin. It's just, you know, two sides, but it's still the same. But yeah, I resonate with this message a lot. And I'm also curious about this violet flame, because I know that this is something that I associate with St. Germain the most, personally, because I've used violet flame a few times. I've heard of it before. And I know that it's very good for example, resolving, like transforming negativity inside of you, or past karma and so on. And also to protect your energy field and so on. I often use it when I go into a new place and I just surround the whole house in violet flame, for example, and like the whole space. Nice. But I'm curious to know from your side, like, what is violet flame for?
Okay, so the violet flame is transmuting fears back to love or dark back to light, and it works instantly. So it's the color that he brings in is violet. You might see pink as well, because his female aspect is Portia, and she brings in a pink energy. So you could use both to transmute, but it's within us. So the violet flame, if you start seeing purple or like a violet in your third eye, like when you're in meditation, that means St. Germain's already working with you. That's what I was saying. Like, he's working with so many people on the planet right now. If you're seeing the violet flame in your third eye, or if you come across his name, or you're, like you said, you're calling in the violet flame, he instantly begins to work with you on a soul level. So he connects with you, and he's giving me chills right now to show me like that confirmation for someone, that it is him that is working with you, whoever he is showing me, because he's saying that somebody that's listening to this podcast, it's you know, that's happening for them. So the violet flame, it transmutes instantly, and you can use it to do like spiritual alchemy, to transmute like diseases or injuries as well. So if you're in meditation, you would write the name of the like the way that he shows me is you write the name of the illness. So say you have neck pain, you would look up the muscles of the neck or the vertebrae of the neck, all the parts of the neck, and write them down on a piece of paper using the medical terminology. And it goes by the vibrational frequency of the words and the letters. And so you hold them in your hand when you go to channel or when you go to meditate, and you command your higher self and St. Germain, evoke the violet flame and transmute all the vibrational frequency of the words that you're holding in your hand from fears back to love or dark back to light, whatever terminology you want to use. And you can write down something like your physical body's consciousness, or if you're, you know, working on balancing anxiety, you can write down your mental body's consciousness. So you can use the violet flame to transmute anything, because at the root of every illness, there's an emotion. So if you can get the root emotion, then you can transmute it with the spiritual alchemy. So it's like he brings in the violet flame to transmute that, and it brings in a lot of forgiveness and love, and yeah, it's just like pure divine love. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. And I actually remembered now that in one of the books, or some kind of maybe snippets of the books of Essential Manual, this is what it was called, was written that like that was just a perspective of that book. I don't say that I agree or disagree with that, but it was written that it's a prerequisite for someone's enlightenment to actually use the violet flame, like that it's so powerful that it transmutes everything and transmutes the karma, and it transmutes so much that it's like almost you have to do it. It's like almost required and necessary to use it in order to raise your vibration in this life, in this human body, to the degree that you reach enlightenment. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's just a interesting thing, someone's perspective. I don't even remember from whom it was, but it's just an interesting fact, right? That some people would have this perspective. So it's worth trying anyway on yourself, if this is, if it's working for you. Because for me, I feel the shift in my energy when I evoke the violet flame. So it was also written, I think, that you need to do it, evoke it 3 times a day, so that it kind of like is consistent, so that it works with you consistently. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing for me. And I'm really curious to know, like, out of all these messages that you've channeled, what is your favorite message, or one of the favorites? Because you probably have a lot, because you've probably channeled a lot.
Yes.
But what would be one of the most favorite messages you have channeled?
Okay, so my inner child's favorite message would be on crystals and how to use crystals, and that's on my YouTube channel. And then my favorite would be Are We All Multidimensional? So those 2 channels, for some reason, I just really enjoyed listening to them after, and I learned a lot from them. So yeah, so those are the 2 on my YouTube channel that I enjoy the most. So there's so many, like I think, I don't know how many messages I have on there now, but there's quite a few.
Beautiful. So what was in a shortcut, let's say, the message about being multidimensional?
Well, I'm just going to say you've got to go listen to it, because there's just so much in it. It's like an hour long, or not an hour long, but probably about a half hour long. And it was just really packed in with like how we're multidimensional. Like every time that we have a thought, there's another aspect of us that unfolds and plays out. Or that every time we have make a decision, there's another aspect of us that unfolds and plays out the other decision in another timeline, in a 3rd dimension reality, but just another timeline. So it's like with every decision we make, we're unfolding, and then like going into past lifetimes. And yeah, I think he even talked about aliens in that video. So yeah, it was just a really good video that it touched on a lot of things. So
I just think it's so funny how you say, I think he was talking about, but it was actually you talking. But it's just so funny. They're like, yeah, St Germain was talking about this and that through my body, through my mouth, but it was him.
Yes,
I just think it's so funny. So how about giving us a little bit of taste of the channeled message from St Germain, or whoever Ascended Master wants to show up right now? But I think it would be great to have St Germain in here, because we have been talking about him a lot. So would you give us a little taste of how the channeling works, and how we can receive it?
Sure. So the way that I work with them to trance channel, there's not much difference between conscious channeling and trance channeling. So you get your messages come in more precise and more fast if you're in trance. So they blend their frequencies with mine, and they don't overtake the body. So anybody that's going to trance channel now at this time, and like on planet Earth, all our spirits are awakening. So our spirits want to be part of the channeling. So you'll go into deep trance, and be conscious at the same time. So there's an aspect of me that can talk to them while I'm in trance, while they're speaking. And so the deeper you go into trance, the more of their personality comes out, and you'll feel them more, like if you're channeling them. And then the like less deep you are in trance, then you'll feel more of your own self. So for those of you who are getting into trance channeling, know that as you're practicing, it's going to go deeper. You're going to feel more of them at the beginning. You're going to feel like it's going to feel like it's your own thoughts coming in, but it's theirs. So they bring in light language. My brain translates it, like I was saying earlier, and then they move my hands. They also bring through frequencies of transmutation for different chakras, depending on what people have brought to the surface. So it's always about like how people receive. It's not how they give it. Like they give it, they bring through the frequencies of divine love. And then if that person's spirit says, oh, I'd like to receive, and they bring to the surface maybe, you know, a vibration of hate that they've been hanging on to for 400 lifetimes. And then the Send Ambassadors channel through my heart chakra and transmute it from their heart chakra back to love. Or that person can stay in victim and not receive anything. So it's always up to the receiver, what they wish to receive. So as I'm channeling the messages, they're always bringing through divine light, and like different ascended masters will come in and out. Like there's Jesus and Buddha and Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, and they all bring in different vibrations and different frequencies to transmute dark back to light. So I'm going to go into trance. And when I do, because time doesn't exist and we're pre-recording this, we're going to be tapping into the audience's vibrational frequency, and we're going to channel a message based on where they're vibrating at. So the way it works is that because time's like folded space. So St. Germain just goes kind of in the future to where everybody's listening, and he will sometimes answer specific questions, but usually he takes like a general vibrational frequency, and then he channels for what would best work for them or help them at this time, assist them, guide them at this time. Okay, so I'm just going to drink a little bit of water. It takes twice as much water to trance channel than it does to consciously channel.
Oh, that's interesting, because water kind of moves electricity, right? So
yeah, it's like the conductor. Yeah. And they also lower the body temperature in order to connect, because their energy is so big.
Beautiful.
Okay, I'm gonna start now. Oh, yes, welcome. I am St. Germain. We welcome you. Ah, what a beautiful day with you in it, we would say. There are many here listening today that are on their journey. There are many that are asking, what is it that I need? What is it that I need at this time in order to move forward? We are showing our channel that there are people asking, what is my purpose? And we will begin with this. What is my purpose? What am I here for? I keep looking and searching, and I cannot find it. And we would say your essence is enough. There is nothing you have to do. Many people have a misconception that they have a soul contract to do something specific, or have to find what would make them great on planet Earth. But we would say to go in and ask your inner child, where would they like to play? This will be what your purpose is. I am a light worker. Many of you are light workers. You came to the planet, you put on a human costume, and you brought in a vibrational frequency of light to anchor onto the planet. Is this not enough? This is your essence. Your essence is enough. This is what we are saying. What is my purpose? But we would say your essence is enough. That is the purpose. The play, where would I like to play is the question. You were asking, what is my purpose? But we are saying the question is, where would I like to play? Change it to this. Instead of asking, what is my purpose? You've already done it. You have come to planet Earth. That was your purpose. You were anchoring light frequencies, bringing new light frequencies onto the planet. Other people around you can download these light frequencies from you. And so your essence is enough. You could walk into a grocery store, and in the grocery store, there may be somebody in there that has deep grief, and you have transmuted this within yourself, and your spirit is offering them this frequency for them to download as well. It is all done on a soul level. The purpose is to awaken and expand one's consciousness. This would be done through creating. And so we say to ask the question, instead of what is my purpose, where would I like to play? This will raise your vibrational frequency. How would I know where to play? Ask your inner child. The inner child is the aspect of your spirit that remains young so that you can experience joy, awe, wonder, and innocence. If you go in and remember, look in meditation or as a memory from childhood, visualize yourself at 5 years old. What did you like to play with? Your inner child is you as a child. This is the aspect that stays young. Ask and look, what would my inner child like to do for fun? What did you play with as a child? Did you play with your dolls? Did you play teacher? Did you play doctor? What did you play as a child? How did you play with your toys? This will give you an indication of what your spirit wants to do for a purpose in this life, for joy. We would say, ask, what could I do for joy? Did I like to paint as a child? Would I like to be an artist? Did I love to read? That means you're already a great author. Whatever your passion is that you're already great at it. If you're interested in something, it is because you're already great at it. And your ego will tell you that you can never have the confidence, that you will never have the confidence. And your ego will tell you that you would never be good at that. But if you were admiring something like a painting on the wall and you love all artwork, it means that you're a great artist. But your ego is going to tell you that you're only great at admiring it. But we would say it is overcoming that fear. Hop over that fear and know your greatness within that, and you will be a great artist. Your deepest fears are your greatest gifts. This is where you'll find your purpose. What is it that you enjoy? If I enjoy reading, then I would be a great writer. Start writing. We would say, do not hesitate. It's only a fear that's blocking you. It's only your ego telling you that you would not be good at it. Change the story. Ask your inner child what he or she would love to do for fun and go from that. You will find your answers there. We are excited for your journey, and we are all here. You do not need Tara to connect with us. We come from within you. We are not outside of you. You brought an aspect of us with you in your center of your physical heart. You brought this aspect with you to planet Earth. And for those who are asking, am I worthy of channeling the ascended masters? We would say, you are us and we are you. We are all equal. See us as equal, and you will hear us. You will feel us, and we will connect. We will be showing many of you this in chills at this moment. If you're receiving chills at this moment, know that it is us. This will give you the belief that it is us. And then, therefore, it will be easy for you to connect with us because the belief will be there. Do not question, do not doubt, trust your knowing. We are here with all of you. Everyone on planet Earth has the Christ consciousness within the center of their physical heart. It is only a remembering, it is only a reactivating. And you all have intuitive abilities. You all have all of the intuitive abilities. There is someone asking in the audience at this time, what are my intuitive abilities? What are my psychic abilities? And we would say, all of you have all of them. It's a remembering and it's a turning back on. Know this and do not doubt it. Begin your journey and begin it with confidence. When you walk into a room, know that you are already loved. Stop lowering your vibration to match those around you and walk in with confidence. Walk in knowing that you are already loved, and that will reflect back to you. Oh, we are here. Blessings. Oh, okay.
Wow. Beautiful. That was such
Oh,
a
thank
beautiful
you.
message. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful to all the masters that showed up to spread this message and to really, to be with us. It was so beautiful. I could really relate to it, and I'm sure that our listeners can relate to it as well. So that's so interesting to see you, because your body changes and everything about you changes when you're channel. That's so interesting and
Yeah.
so cool. Amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it takes a minute to come out. Like, I've got to kind of pull myself back in. So there's some spiritual aspects that step out to make room for them. And then when you're done channeling, they you pull those back in and then disconnect from them. So I'm a little bit out of it right after. So
beautiful. Well, I'm loving it. Anyway, I loved it as a lot. So I have one last little question to you. If people would like to see more of your content and, check you out maybe on Instagram or other social media, what is the best way to find you apart from YouTube channel? Because you mentioned already YouTube, but is there any other way?
yes. My website is taraarnoldart.com. So, and all my services are on there. I do readings and teach. The course I teach is for channeling, for people who want to learn how to channel. There's a pre-recorded one that's an hour and a half. And then there's the masterclass. And also you can reach me on Instagram at channeling St Germain. So those two, and then the YouTube is Tara Arnold. So yeah, we'd love to see you. If you're new to the YouTube, like, subscribe and leave a comment, and I'd love to, to meet you. And yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful interview and really beautiful message. So I'm super grateful for you that you came on the podcast and shared yourself with us.
Well, thank you. I'm grateful for you as well. Thank you for having me on.